Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fireside chat, where we are going to be talking about how market landscape changed in 2021 and how it is going to be in 2022 and afar. My name is Subramanian Gopalaratnam, CEO and CTO of Resulticks. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the participants and hope we will provide a very valuable insights and follow up on your journey in making yourself a leader in your industry. Resulticks is a futuristic platform that powers real-time customer engagement and customer experience. Resulticks empowers brands like yourself to create data-driven communication to your customers and prospects and drive business decisions through its leading AI-powered big data cloud solution that underpins the digital transformation. I would like to welcome Hareesh Tibrewala, who is a senior and serial entrepreneur and currently the joint CEO of Mirum India. Mirum India is one of the largest digital solution providers who is part of WPP network, and they have expertise in three key core areas of practice: media and creative, marketing automation, and tech builds using Sitecore. Mirum has a team of 250 plus professionals with pan-India presence and great customers under their kitty. Hareesh is also a co-chairperson of digital committee in the IMC Chamber of Commerce. Mirum is a reseller of Resulticks with experience of over a decade of delivering over 100 plus Martech projects across industry verticals. We are very happy and very glad to bring the expertise of Hareesh to this conversation. Hareesh, can you share your views on this topic and set an initial context that we will dwell deep later?
Yeah, thanks, Mani. Thanks for having me on this call. And we are very excited with this opportunity of partnering with Resulticks and providing customer solutions in the area of Martech. Like you mentioned, Mirum is a end-to-end digital solutions company with practice in multiple areas. And one of the values that our clients see in working with Mirum is that unlike a solution integrator, we're able to bring the entire 360 digital thinking, to the client. So we just don't integrate the platform because we understand media, because we understand strategy, because we understand content. We're able to create a complete holistic solution where we believe the maximum value for a client gets created. Like you mentioned, the years 2020, 2021 have indeed been hugely transformational when it comes to the Martech arena. Something very interesting we saw is, we had done a Martech survey almost about 18 months back, just before COVID was kind of setting in. And we were trying to understand from various CMOs about their understanding of Martech. Do they understand what is Martech? What is the rate of adoption? How do they see the growth in Martech? And then we did a survey maybe just about 2 or 3 months back. And we were surprised to see that this period of 18 months has actually acted as an accelerator when it comes to Martech adoption. It reminds me of the words of Vladimir Lenin, who once said that nothing can happen for years, and then years can happen in weeks. And it is exactly what seems to have happened. The trends that we see emerging out of COVID were trends already present in society, but the pandemic acted as an accelerant and just made them happen faster. So stuff that would have otherwise taken 3 or 4 years, we saw it all happen in a year. And one very interesting insight was the emergence of this cohort called Martech heroes. These are really brands who have been investing very heavily on Martech. They are seeing some brilliant ROI, and they're committed to continuing to make those investments. So right from a time where you are wondering that how do people think of Martech, to in a very short period reaching a conclusion that there is already a segment in society who has embraced Martech wholeheartedly and creating value for themselves and their customers has been like a brilliant understanding over the last few years. Mani, what has been your experience in this area?
I agree with you. I think last 24 months has been a key, differentiator for many companies to, emerge into actual digital transformation, which they were waiting for a long time. And they were contemplating whether it adds value. Especially Martech has evolved from just being a support function to a pivotal differentiated capability that underpins an organization's transformation. So the outside in thinking is hugely became a differentiator during this COVID times, because you never had an opportunity to use your muscle or your branch presence or face to face, which actually is a very key thing. Second one is the marketing function now is integrated not just inside a silo of an organization, but across everything, including HR and operations and sales. So when you touch a customer or a prospect at every level, you are able to measure, you are able to understand what they are coming for, and you're able to target the right set of offers, communication, content, and other things. So it's becoming a very important differentiator. And every organization, be it small or big, started looking at leveraging this. Second major revolution is the data revolution. A lot of times, Martech in the initial days were more about how do you communicate, how fast you can communicate. But now, after communicating, what do you understand about them? Do you know enough about them? Do you know who looks similar? And you can actually test certain hypotheses in terms of how they are going to be reacting to your communication. Or is it important for me to select in a selective fashion rather than trying to spray and pray? All these kind of things have come to a emergence in 2021, and it is continuing. Whoever has the best leverage of the data is going to be the leader in their realm, is where the frontiers of battle lines are being drawn today. What do you think, Hareesh?
You make a very interesting observation that we are moving from a spray and spray model to like a very, very targeted model. I mean, I remember the fathers of advertising, Ogilvy used to say advertising is all about spray and pray. You spend 2 rupees, one works, one doesn't, and you don't know which one worked and which didn't. But thanks to market, you know exactly what is working for you, what is working for a specific customer, at what point of time does he want to receive a mail, is email the best channel of communication or SMS the best channel of communication, and you are able to deliver absolutely personalized contextual communication, which to me is like the biggest ROI that happens for clients. Mani, when you look at different sectors who react to Martech, we keep hearing about BFSI, we hear about the auto sector, about the real estate sector. What has been your experience dealing with sectors like healthcare or CPG or FMCG?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting observation. So, sectors like healthcare, pharma, and FMCG, which were more or less channel led, are they were not having the direct customer understanding in terms of how they behave on a day-to-day basis, is changing completely. So, with the emergence of online pharmas or connected healthcare, right? Everyone now wears a watch, and a wearable that provides certain amount of at the basic heart rates and number of steps, etc., to most advanced oxygen levels, SpO2, all kinds of things. So all these companies are now coming back into looking at how they can leverage the data, how they can be part of this data revolution. And in your survey, when I read it about Martech heroes, they prefer to bring customer data and how they are reacting in one place. That is, 76% of the leaders are preferring to choose this kind of a strategy and integration that they're looking at. They're also looking at roadmap based approach in terms of how do I actually take this opportunity to create a journey where I can start learning more and more and more about the customer. Not in day one, I will know everything, right? It takes ages to know it. But what is the most crucial requirement of me to be taken into? I think that's where the healthcare and pharma are really looking at in terms of getting more customer intimacy and providing value adds. Whereas in FMCG, they are looking at how they are going to be designing products which have a differentiator and personalized areas in that is again an important thing. In terms of healthcare, I've seen one of our Australian customers are having defined personalized vitamin regimes based on the characteristics and health goals and their current exercise profiles. So these kind of things are becoming more and more in the coming years. I also saw the top two priorities in your report is about increasing marketing ROI and efficiencies. So these companies are looking more towards efficiencies to start with, which will result in ROI over a period of time. That's what I think will be. And all industries, be it big or small, be it new techs, like, one of the things that I was laughing about with my friend, the biggest industry in US is legalized marijuana, and they are bigger than fintech today. And how do they actually make the communications to be relevant to their users, make sure that there is caution in terms of how this recreational behaviors can affect them, and make them aware of consequences, is very, very key. I think there's a lot of effort and money being spent in providing these kind of content to the consumers. So I guess, anywhere there is a customer, this technologies play a major role.
That's an interesting observation. In this report, we did not cover legalized marijuana. Maybe in the next report, we'll cover the category also and see how that is responding to personalized communication.
Yeah, I remember in India, we used to, as an agency, before we built Resulticks, we had liquor companies as customers where we were doing surrogate marketing. That means we were creating events, we're creating awareness about how to moderate, how to make sure that you're not going to be addicted or dependent on such things, and how to enjoy it in a balance. So I guess this is going to be area of taboo, but still, I'm talking about unconventional industries jumping onto this bandwagon.
That's true. Very true. Very true.
So, Hareesh, why some brands don't see ROI in their Martech investments? I'm always very curious to see there is a big spray and pray, as you said.
Right, right. So that's an interesting question. And as you see in our report, we have kind of tried to showcase a bunch of people who are actually the Martech laggards, people who either make investments and don't see ROI, are not sure how to go forward. And we have seen two key reasons for this. One is we have seen brands who buy multiple different brands to create the entire Martech stack. And sometimes the Martech stack doesn't seamlessly talk to each other, which kind of creates an issue. So we have like a one integrated suite that kind of helps. I think the bigger reason is that Martech solution is not just plumbing. It's not just connecting some systems together and assuming data will flow. Once you have set the plumbing and the system together, you require somebody of experience to run the show for you. Somebody who understands the power of technology, somebody who understands digital creativity and understands digital media. When you bring it all together, that is really where success comes in. So what we tell our clients is buying a Martech platform is like investing in a car. You bought a Ferrari or a Mercedes, but now you also need a driver who's capable of driving that Ferrari from one destination to another, or the whole year the Ferrari standing there, and then you will say the platform does not work. So typically when we engage with clients, we insist that besides taking implementation services, you must take run and operate services at least for a year. So we are able to run it for you. We are able to create those journeys. We are able to demonstrate value. And if you want, we're happy to train your team along with it. Once you are ready, please take it forward. And then what we saw in case of brands that are actually successful or Martech heroes, most of them work with a partner. The world of digital is changing so fast. Facebook keeps changing the algorithm almost every week. You really require expertise to be sure you are leveraging the best and making the most sense of it. So one very specific reason is that you need to look at run and operate together with your marketing implementation. When you look at making an investment, you need to look at your BOM in that complete thing. There's a cost for platform, there's a cost for setup, and there's a cost for run and operate. And that is the investment brands need to commit, and that's how they manage to get success. Well, what has been your experience, Mani?
Yeah, I think I fully agree with you in terms of looking at it holistically. Otherwise, you buy a very shiny toy but never use it. So I had several experiences with some of the big airlines, right? Singapore Airlines, for example. They insist on change management. So if they're investing X dollars in a platform, they actually go to the level of more than 50% of this X in change management. How do you train your people? How do you make sure that you're bringing the right operators who will actually be side by side? I think this is very, very essential. I've seen a lot of failed implementation where this change management is not given the right importance, because you get a toy you will never be able to use. Take SAP, for example. SAP, most successful implementations are the ones which are simple in nature, and spent a lot of time and effort in reorganizing how the overall operation looks like. If you're going to take your old market, a Martech construct in terms of the process and try to codify in the new platforms, best of luck for you. You will never succeed. Second part I've seen is understanding clear customer touch points and embedding measurement criteria and implementation plan based on test hypothesis is very, very important. This has to be driven by the business, not by technology alone. Technology provides the conduit and the plumbing, but the actual circulation happens through the very blood that is being circulated. That's a business, and it has to be brought to life, and that's how the ROI can be really measured, and ROI can be tracked. And if there is any lag, you're able to correct and course correct. What I've also seen in your report is 51% of the organizations who were surveyed strongly agreed ROI measurement will be key. So, selecting a platform should not be a gut instinct. It should be based on ROI, based on what capabilities you will use.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every discussion with a client today is about ROI. I'm willing to make the investment. Show me how will I get our money back. When you talk of Martech money, no discussion can be complete without discussing CDP, and that seems like the latest acronym or jargon we industry guys have come up with. IT industry is known for creating new jargons at every point of time. And when you go and talk about CDP, everybody seems to have his own definition of what really is a CDP. So why don't you share your views in terms of, what do you think really a CDP is, who requires a CDP, how does one go about doing it?
Yeah, so the whole concept started very early in the banking areas where they created a department called Master Data Management, where they were actually responsible for measuring and managing the master data. One of the European banks I worked with, they had over 500 people worldwide to only manage customer profiles. This is how important it was and how tedious it was to manage it. And then over a period, people started, consolidating the data in an operational sense into data warehouses. The issue with this data warehouses where they were very transactional oriented and it was across the organization. So accessing this, though easy through reporting tools, is very difficult to modify. Suppose I want to create new dimensions, new observations. It took ages for them to implement that. It was purely IT led. Then over a period when the big data revolution came, they said, let's do data lakes. What are data lakes? It's nothing but a repository of all kinds of raw data that flows across your organization. So to dip into this, you need to have specialist knowledge. There are tools by which a data science team operates with, or a reporting tool with which a business team operates with which. But the latency with which you can take a decision is much, much higher, though it solved the problem of adding new attributes to a triviality. In around 2013, when we decided to write Resulticks, we said we needed actionable information that is very specific to customers. We used to call it CAH, Customer Information Hub, on which every other decision and decision makers are basing their support on. And by 2016, magically, a new acronym came called CDP, and they had a CDP Institute, and they were actually ranking everyone. So we were only laughing at that. So in my opinion, CDP is a key requirement, which addresses complexities of data, but make it simple for the whole organization to securely access about a customer. It's not just about what you know about customers from the registration, subscriptions, or their transactions. It is also about how they consume the communications, how they engage, how they convert. All of this combined with third-party resources that are available today through a DMP system or through web analytics or app analytics, all of this converge into one place and make it easy. If I want to know about money, who is money, I need to know the entirety about money, or things that I don't know about money in a very clear way. This is what will differentiate an organization. Today, that particular capability is called a CDP.
But in one of our earlier conversations, we were discussing about an e-commerce brand who mentioned that we don't require CDP, and it a very interesting observation. I mean, why don't you share it for the benefit of viewers? that CDP is beyond just your own data.
Correct. So it's, I think this is again, I tried unsuccessfully to talk out to some of the founders of e-commerce company, where they've been moderately successful, or some of them are, in the $1 billion club today. So their observation is more towards, I'm self-sufficient. I build the platform, so I know everything about my customer. So the challenge that I threw to them was, okay, you know about their transactional characteristics, search characteristics, but do you know what they do with your competition? Do you know why somebody is not transacting with you, or why somebody is transacting too much about you? So you need to know about how the psyche works, and that cannot be codified as part of your rigid e-commerce or a supply chain platform. So today there is also a huge amount of competition that copies. There is no such things, no such differentiator like, I only can do $1 billion days, or I only can do 1 1 2 2 3 3 kind of offers. Everybody and their dog is doing that. And how do you make sure that you get the right mindset or right activation from a customer, right? I'm actually having so many applications, so many e-commerce applications on my mobile today, and I'm being bombarded with messages about what are the offers, etc. So I'm kind of switching off most of them, because they don't understand me. They only see my transactions and trying to target me. So I guess e-commerce should focus on ease of use, large transaction volume support, whereas they should use a CDP solution to provide actionable links to enhance customer visits. There are two sides of the coin.
Yeah. So really what I'm hearing from you is that CDP is not just about transaction data about your own customers or what the customers do with your brand. It is really being able to understand what do customers do outside your brand, either with your competition or the behavioral intelligence. And that is really the role that CDP has to play. So it's far, far larger than just massaging your own data and creating journeys out of it. Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think we covered a few good points, but let's go into guessing the crystal ball. Harish, in your opinion, what are the trends you foresee in 2022 and in the future?
It's very, very risky for in the digital business to keep on doing gazing. You never know what changes when. I mean, nonetheless, our job is to keep preparing ourselves and our clients for the future. And I will talk about two trends which are more at a customer behavior level, and maybe two trends which is little more related to Martech. So one trend at a customer behavior level, we are going to be seeing the advent of 5G. And 5G is going to be like a game changer. I mean, it's like you can download a movie in the blink of a flash kind of thing, or the kind of applications, the call that we are doing today using video, it could probably happen using some kind of a virtual reality platform where it could be actually sitting next to me. So 5G is going to bring about a dramatic change in the way we leverage the power of digital for consumer engagement. The second place where we see a lot of change happening is AR, VR, and already Facebook is far ahead in the game with the launch of Meta, that create the entire concept of metaverse like a second life where you can get avatars and in avatars kind of engage with everybody. So if I look at two headline changes that are going to happen in the digital world, one of course is advent of 5G. Second is advent of AR, VR. Coming closer to Martech, we are going to be seeing machine learning playing a very important part. I mean, really the power of artificial intelligence is to be able to massage a lot of data very, very quickly and spot trends. And now the amount of data that is available with consumer touchpoints is just not funny. So machine learning will become very, very critical to be sure that you can arrive at conclusions very, very fast. And the second point is the importance of data, which you earlier also mentioned. Many years back, when you talk to a FMCG company, their entire sales was through a channel partner. They didn't know their customers per se. They didn't have their email IDs. They didn't have their cookies. Their dependence was fully on channel partner. But today, every single FMCG brand wants to start capturing data about their end customer to see how they can make sense of it. And that is true for everybody. So we should kind of see this data really becoming the new oil as far as business is concerned. Mani, your thoughts on a bit of stargazing for 2022?
Yeah, I think you touched upon the two key points. One is the fast networks, 5G, and suddenly there is also talks about 6G by a few other consortiums, and also the data. For me, both of this means two things. One is a digital twin-based architecture in terms of how do you engage, right? Today, an e-commerce player can be standalone, but maybe in tomorrow's world, they can combine forces together. There can be a superstore like Amazon today has an ability for merchants to come and compete, right? So the ability for you to create a digital twin, that means using AR and VR, we can actually experience a store sitting remotely and do certain types of ordering. So this is going to be the next level of personalization. Today, digital twins are being adopted for smart cities, smart airports, and so on and so forth. And this is totally dependent upon two areas. One is on the IoT front in terms of how I'm able to use digital signals other than just traditional channel signals from, let's say, an email which has got clicked, opened, etc. And SMS is basically delivered, opened, and so on and so forth. IoT can give much more inputs from the different devices. Like from a VR perspective, it can actually give even eye movement. It can give virtual touches, etc. And the second most important concept that is going to be really hogging the space is how do people use edge computing. Edge means bringing content near you so that the latency of delivering content is going to be reduced in a very minuscule fashion, and you can take a decision through rules, and using AI/ML components you can actually deliver content at a device or near your device. This two things are going to really revolutionize the way in which customer experiences are going to be and how people are going to consume the way in which it is being done.
Very interesting observations, Mani.
So I guess we are on top of the hour. Can we summarize in terms of what do we see based on all the conversation we had, Hareesh?
Yeah. So to me, like a one-line summary is that every brand needs to aspire to be a Martech hero. When I meet a customer or a client, I tell them that your business is not selling shirts or razors anymore. It is really understanding your customer and customer data. I mean, what makes Amazon Amazon? It is not the vast range of products. It is all the data that they have at the back end, which they are able to massage very quickly and make a contextual communication to the customer, which makes sense for us. So every business now going to be a business about aggregating data, making sense of the data, and communicating the right message to the right customer at the right time. You can have a brilliant product, you can have a brilliant brand, but if you're not reaching out to the right person at the right time, that will not sell. So to me, the message for every brand is let us aspire to be Martech heroes.
Great, Harish. I think you summarized for both of us. So my last piece of you know um, conversation is we are living in a very exciting era where information communications are taken for granted. We would love to work with organizations and make you a Martech hero, and we will make sure that we are able to provide you with such a support. So you want to know how to create a roadmap, we'll be there together, and we will give you the relevant workshops, and you can reach out to us in terms of how do you want to get to the next level. And thank you for your time today, and please get in touch with us for your customer engagement for next level. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mani, for having me on this conversation. It has been a very interesting conversation. I hope our viewers also find it very, very useful. And maybe we should do this discussion more often. Good to just exchange some thoughts and ideas. Thank you so much for having me on this.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Have a good day.